So the first question that he gets in mind is, should I incorporate or should I do it as a sole proprietor or as a self-employed? Hello friends. In this video, we're going to be talking about the difference between an unincorporated contractor and an incorporated contractor. This video is basically, it's good for all kind of contractors, but we're going to narrow it down to IT contractors. I get this question a lot, and I totally understand why it creates the confusion. So I am hoping that this is the last video you would watch on this topic, and by the end of this video you're gonna have a very clear head what do you want to do. It's not just gonna be a technical presentation on the subject, but it is also gonna be answering certain common questions, the frequently asked questions that I get around this topic. So first thing, let's say setup for an unincorporated or a sole proprietor contractor would look like. You don't have to do anything here. So this is very simple. All right. How simple? Very simple, seriously. So all you have to do is you just have to tell your employer, and I'm calling this the other party which is going to give you work, an employer or a client. Okay, so same thing. All right, so don't think of an employer as the employer and you're an employee. No, we're not talking about that. We are the IT consultant or IT contractor, and the party that is giving us the work is the employer or the client. All right, so you just tell them that, hey, I'm a contractor, and they're gonna say, all right, yeah, and I'm unincorporated. So they're just gonna give you the work, and you're gonna take the work on your own name. That's it, and you start doing the work. So you might start charging them by hour, whatever the cost structure is. It could be the hour by hourly rates or project cost price, or however you want to price it. That's a separate thing, but you just start doing it, and you're going to start sending them the invoice for the work that you've done, and they're going to start paying you. Simple. No setup at all. Nothing. But if you want to do the incorporated, if you want to be an incorporated IT consultant or IT contractor, then this is going to be a bit complex. Okay, so why, actually I made the complex. So why is it going to be a bit complex? Is that you have to incorporate. That means you have to form a business structure, a legal business structure, which is called a corporation. All right, so you have to do that, and once you have that, that will create a separate entity. And when I say entity, it means it's a separate taxable entity. That means that there is another, it's a legal structure in the eyes of the law. A corporation is a separate taxable and a legal entity. You can sue that business can open up an account, this business can send you communication by its own name. You can send communication to the business, all that. And if there is, let's say, Mr. John sending you letter from ABC Corporation, it means that John is representing that business, is working on behalf of that business. So that business is a separate entity. Structure. So when I say structure, I'm referring to the what kind of structure would I need to become an IT contractor. Okay, so if I'm thinking of not incorporating, so the structure is gonna be, it's just gonna be myself. And if I look at it from the tax standpoint, I'm just gonna be a sole proprietor or a self-employed. All right, so sole proprietor and self-employed is the simplest structure that is attached with you. So like yourself, it's your business is yourself. Okay, so for example, it's Murtaza, and Murtaza, when he starts working as a sole proprietor or as a self-employed, he is just representing himself. but he's performing a business activity. That's the thing. So over here, it's gonna be a self-employed or sole proprietor. Okay, so that is the structure that you're gonna have, which is like you don't have to form any new thing, you don't have to do any new thing, you're just representing yourself and doing a business activity. How the tax would work, as I said earlier, we're gonna have a separate video on that topic. Structure for incorporated. Now this is gonna be a bit complicated. As I said, complex in the setup part. Now I'm gonna tell you why, because you have to incorporate. So incorporate federal or provincial. So you want to have to incorporate in a certain jurisdiction. It could be the federal jurisdiction, like which is Canada-wide, or a provincial jurisdiction, which is just that province. There is a difference. The fees are differences. The information required are pretty much the same. And to kind of just summarize the difference in one sentence, a longer one would be that if you incorporate federally, you will be able to work within Ontario or other provinces as well, most of other provinces as well, and you wouldn't need to incorporate yourself locally in those provinces. But if you just incorporate in the Ontario jurisdiction, and if you have to start working in let's say Alberta, so you have to incorporate yourself under Alberta jurisdiction as well. So that's the difference. All right, so IT contractors, the easier way is to incorporate federally. It has its own benefits, I would say, and it's simpler as well and cheaper as well. So Mr. A asked me, hey, can I open a bank account for this business if I'm a contractor? Yes, you can open a bank account for your business as a self-employed or a sole proprietor. And you can use this business account solely for your business activity, like receiving the income into this account and making expenses out of this account. You can open up a bank account. Over here, if you become incorporated, federal or provincial, whatever, yes, you have to, and you should actually have a bank account, and that bank account will be opened under the title or the name of the corporation. Okay, and let's say over here I incorporated and the name of the corporation is ABC Inc. All right, so this is the name we're going to use. So the bank account over here, as an unincorporated professional contractor, it is going to be opened under your name. But over here, as an incorporated contractor, the bank account is going to be open under the corporation name, which is ABC Inc. All right, you have to present certain documents to the bank to open that account, articles and incorporation certificate and blah blah, right? So I'm just giving you those quick tips as well. Can I have a name for my business? In Canada, yes, you can have a name for your sole proprietor business or self-employed activity, right? And for that, let's say you can have we call it a master business license issued by the province, right? So you can get a name, let's say ABC, the Mr. A, he just registers his company as everyday IT consultants. I'm just saying, right? So if he gets that name, he can get the master business license. He can also register the business number, HST. He can also get the HST. We're going to talk about that in the tax part of the things. And yes, so he can get that name, and also he can open up the account on that name as well. If you incorporate as a contractor, you can also use, you're going to be just using the name of the legal name of the corporation. Just to add here, as a corporation, you can have either a named corporation or a numbered corporation. If you get a named corporation, it's much safer, and you have the full rights to use that name as your business on your business cards, on your sign out outside the office or whatever. You can use that name, and you can use the name if you have the master business license as well. But this one is more solid. Operations. So this guy, Mr. A, asks, okay, what if I'm in unincorporated? What does that, how does that affect my operations as the business? Like I'm, let's say Mr. A is a website developer, and he's asking me, would, either of these statuses affect his operations? I would say not really, no. Okay, so you're gonna have full operations, so let's call it full. So you're gonna have full operations however you want to operate. You can operate whatever your agreement or whatever your terms and conditions with your employer or the client are. You can totally work according to those. There's going to be no restriction on your working hours, this and that, nothing like that, right? And if you are an incorporated contractors, the same applies. You will have full operations. No restrictions, nothing, except for if there is any binding or contractual thing between you and your client, that would affect your operations. Otherwise, you can have your income, whatever income is coming, wherever it's coming from. You can have all kind of expenses, whatever expenses are related to your business, either here or here, no problem. When you have employees or subcontractors, as a self-employed or as a sole proprietor or as an unincorporated contractor, can I get help from subcontractors or hire subcontractors or hire an employee? The answer would be yes, you can do that. All right. So you can hire further subcontractors, onshore, offshore, help on any basis, hourly basis, project basis. It's you can have a team of people working for you, no problem at all. In case of incorporated, if you are an incorporated IT consultant or IT contractor, absolutely you have the full freedom to have as many employees you want to hire and as many subcontractors or contractors who serve you in any way, whatever the terms are. Tax, I've broken this question down into two things. Tax requirements, what would, how the requirements look like for unincorporated and the incorporated. And then the savings, a very common question about the savings. That's why I'm going to make a separate video on the tax part so that I can explain these things a little bit in more detail. The tax requirements are minimal. And when I say minimal, means it's all personal. So that means you don't have to file extra, you don't have to do any extra tax filings for being an unincorporated IT consultant, right? So it's all gonna go into your personal tax returns. It's all gonna affect your personal taxes. While in case of incorporated IT contractor, this is gonna be more tax requirements, right? Because you have to file, since I said earlier that when you incorporate, you have a corporation, which is a separate taxable entity, right? So that means that separate taxable entity has to handle its own taxes as well, right? So that means that you have to manage or handle taxes for the corporation and then for yourself. So it's an extra burden. So that's why I wrote more, because you have to do corporation taxes. So you have to take care of the corporation related taxes. Savings. Um, I would say in case of unincorporated, the savings are generally lesser. Okay, so in general. Now again, this is a detailed topic. We will discuss it later in another video. But if you are a sole proprietor, the tax saving opportunities are less when you compare it with the corporation. In case of incorporated contractor, if you become incorporated, yes, you will have greater tax savings. You will have more tax savings as compared to sole proprietor. And over there, you won't really have to worry about where your revenues or profits are growing. You won't really have to worry about the growth, because tax won't, this structure, the corporation structure would actually support your growth as far as the taxes are concerned. But over here, you will start feeling the tax restriction, and restriction means in terms of savings. So over here, the savings will, the opportunities will kind of become lesser as you grow. Over here, there are more opportunities to manage and plan your taxes around here in this structure.